right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, judges. Thank you to all who presented their pitches. And we are excited at the Entrepreneur Center. I am Jane Allen. I am an entrepreneur, but right now I have the good fortune and privilege to lead this amazing team who are working each and every day to connect entrepreneurs to resources to help make a positive difference in their lives. And that's a little bit about what today is about. The reality is we're living in unprecedented times. A lot of things that none of us have ever really dealt with, but the entrepreneurial spirit, problem solving, perseverance, looking for ways to do good are all alive and well, and we have been blown away by what we are seeing in the entrepreneurial community. So today was an opportunity in our mind to bring people together, to shine a light, a positive light on some of the people that are really working to do good and do well. And in order to do it, we ask celebrities that are entrepreneurial to judge. And I just want to thank you all so much for saying yes. And this is our first event, and hopefully we can do more, and hopefully one day in person. But for right now, I just want to thank each and every one of you. And I also want to thank Launch Tennessee, who is a partner to us at the Entrepreneur Center and a partner with us in this event. And I'm going to ask Margaret Dolan, who leads the Launch Tennessee, to speak for a few minutes or for a minute or so, and then we'll have the event. So thank you.
Thank you, Jane. I'm so excited to be here. I am Margaret Dolan, President and CEO of Launch Tennessee. We empower a network of entrepreneur centers and other resources statewide that support startups and entrepreneurs from Memphis to the Tri-Cities and everywhere in between. I've also been privileged to be serving on the Governor's Unified Command Group for the COVID-19 response for the last many weeks, and I share Jane's enthusiasm and her optimism that small business, startups, entrepreneurs are going to be the ones that think of the great ideas, that solve the problems, that really serve as a Kickstarter to our economy. So I'm very excited to be here today. I'm really thrilled. Nashville Entrepreneur Center is a most important partner, and I'm really glad to be here today. Thank you.
Margaret, thank you so much. We're so glad that we get to be part of Launch Tennessee. We're better for being part of Launch Tennessee, and the leadership that you all have shown during this window is so impressive and really bar none. We can't thank you enough for all the work that your team is doing to unite the whole state of Tennessee. Thank you so much. And with that, we're ready to kick things off. My name is Brynn Plummer. I'm the Vice President of Inclusion and Community Relations here at the Nashville Entrepreneur Center. I've been given the honorable role that I'm humbled to have to be the MC of today's pitch competition. We are, as mentioned earlier on this call, for anyone who might have joined earlier, this is a sort of novel experience for us. So thank you for being part of it with us. I imagine that the experience we all have together will give us more to grow from and make it even better, but I have a hunch just based on the pitches that I saw yesterday, but today's first go is going to be incredibly strong. A bit of housekeeping to get things going. You will be on mute during the call and videos will be paused for this event. If you have your video on, please turn it off. As Jeremy mentioned, it can slow down our lag time. Add to our lag time and slow down the call. But we ask you to use the chat. The chat is kind of what our voice would do in the real space. So chat each other up, give each other shout outs, pose questions, so on and so forth, because the chat is our best mechanism to stay connected and get to know one another. I'm seeing a lot of people I know on the call, and hopefully you are too. Second, this event is being recorded, so we will have this as an evergreen piece of content that we can share with folks. Please do come back to it. If you have someone who you want to see some of the ideas that are here, you'll be able to share with them afterwards. And then finally, I wanted to cover what an elevator pitch is. This is an elevator pitch event. So if you've never heard that term or it's a new term to you, I'll just explain it in an analogy using one of our celebrity judges. So let's say you get in an elevator and, oh my gosh, Eddie George happens to be on that elevator. So you have from the first floor up to floor 20 to get Eddie on board with whatever idea you have. So imagine you have these 30 to 60 seconds with Eddie and you're kind of got a captive audience. this is your best bet at getting him on board your idea. So the 60 seconds, your best idea, I know that our business ideas can be super big and complicated and can take over our lives, but we pared it down to the most essential pieces so that everyone here can get a little taste of what you're doing. We got to see all 9 of the pitches yesterday. There were over 100-minute videos submitted to this. So the 9 that were chosen were unbelievable. And the 100 that we saw overall were also incredibly impressive. So I think you're going to be really excited for what's to come. Now, let's go on to meet our judges. We have 4 exciting, exceptional, themselves entrepreneurial judges who are on the call today, who are joining us from all over the U.S. Our first judge is the founder and CEO of Redline Steel. He's also Forbes' 2018 Most Interesting Millennial in America. Welcome to Colin Wayne. Colin, we're glad you're here from Alabama. Why are you excited about entrepreneurship during this time, Colin?
So, yeah, thank you for having me. So I'm Colin Wayne. I'm a former military Army combat veteran. I did 3 tours over in Egypt, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I got injured in Afghanistan and transitioned and pivoted out during a time of crisis. So with what's going on with COVID-19, there's a lot of things that end up happening that you have to pivot and make those changes. We're having the best quarter that we've ever had in the history of our business because of pivoting. Within the last week, we've been featured in almost every major publication, from Fox News to MSNBC, Business Insider, Forbes, Entrepreneur. And it's from pivoting and giving back. And so I think when you can give in a place of integrity, that it's going to come back times 10. But I just love entrepreneurship. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to see the pitches, and honored to be a host on this panel.
We're glad to get to know you, and shout out to Zach Tepperman, who got us in touch with you. He's a new resident of Middle Tennessee, but he made sure that we got someone really exciting on here. So we're glad to have you. Glad to have Zach support of the EC as well. Next, we have Roger Saffold. He's the star offensive lineman of the Tennessee Titans, tighten up. And he's the co-founder of Rise Nation Esports, which, if you don't know much about esports, it is a huge and booming industry. It's the fastest growing industry within sports. And I'm sure in this world where a lot of our pro sports are not happening, esports is actually a place that's booming. So, Roger, why are you excited about entrepreneurship in this time?
I'm really excited, and thanks for having me. Just because I think that, with everything, with any type of entrepreneurship that you're trying to focus on, it all starts with an idea. And, when I started Rise Nation, it all stemmed from an idea, something very small, and then I watched it, grow and bloom into fruition. So I'm excited to see people on that same path. I'm excited to see, where they're starting at and where they intend to grow. Because I think the process is the best part of being an entrepreneur.
We feel the same way. It's one of those things where, yes, everyone wants to achieve these huge things, build a legacy for their family, but the process, you kind of get addicted to the process. And I think that's why on this call we have so many serial entrepreneurs and so many people who get back in the game, start and stop and start and stop. We definitely believe that most entrepreneurs never stop starting. Roger, so glad you're here. Next, we have former Tennessee Titans running back. The Titans are strong in the house today. Heisman Trophy winner, and now the managing director of Edward George Wealth Management, Eddie George. Eddie, why are you excited about entrepreneurship today?
Well, I'm excited because there's a lot of opportunities out there. This is a great time, not only to be grounded with your family and loved ones, but a time to reinvent yourself, a time to identify do for you, to spark up a new business idea, plenty of time to be creative, so I'm excited about it. A lot of great opportunities out there in terms of picking up different stocks, different types of fund lines, insurance. So yeah, I'm really excited about entrepreneurship. I'm really excited to be a part of this today, along with this great panel.
Thank you. And Eddie, you've been a longtime supporter of the EC. So we thank you for giving us even more of the time and energy that you've given us over the years. Jeremy asked in the chat what your favorite book was. Do you have a favorite book? Just out of curiosity.
My favorite book is Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. That's one of my favorite books. Also on the list of Warren Buffett as well. So I got it stolen from Warren, and now I'm reading the last 5 years. It's this thick.
Everyone write that down, Intelligent Investor. Try to get on Eddie's level. Thank you, Eddie, for being here again. And then finally, well-known country music artist. His name is synonymous with country music, and the owner of Arrington Vineyards, which if you've ever spent a Saturday or Sunday afternoon at Arrington Vineyards, then you will be very thankful for this man, Kix Brooks. So Kix, love your glasses. Happy birthday. You know what I'm going to ask you. You're very welcome. Why are you excited about entrepreneurship these days and this time?
Well, like Colin mentioned, we're in an unprecedented time as far as what we're involved in, how our economy has basically been shut down in a huge way by the virus that the whole world is dealing with right now. And I think it takes our entrepreneurial spirit into sort of a whole new direction. I've been on several Zoom calls just recently with Senator Alexander, Senator Frisk, a couple of my friends at the Gladstone Institute out west who are looking for a vaccine right now. And with some of the pitches that I've seen, I think we really have to be thinking in that direction. And sometimes when we get a huge wave shift like we have now, that's when the energy of the entrepreneur really has to rise to the top, because there are opportunities that we didn't have even a couple of months ago. So a lot of things are right there in front of us, and there's a lot of needs, desperate needs, that can actually be really helpful to our country from a health standpoint, from a business standpoint. This is a time to think differently. This is a time when young entrepreneurs can really have their moment and come up with a great service to the country.
I think that's very well put and very exemplary of the entrepreneurs that we have in front of us today. Every one of them has sort of seen a need, seen a gap, and risen up to fill that gap. Kix, thank you so much. You're also a Hall of Famer of the Nashville Entrepreneur Hall of Fame. So famous many, many, many times over. We're so grateful that you could join us today.
Thanks for coming to Arrington. I was wondering who was drinking all that wine, by the way.
It was I. Thank you to all of our judges, and you can give it up for the judges in the chat. I see a lot of people fangirling, fanboying, as I was as we assembled this panel too. So you have a lot of fans who are here on board. All right, thank you all so much. Let's get into why everyone's here. We have 9 entrepreneurs who are going to pitch their business ideas to you today. We have some rules just to make sure that we kind of keep things even across the board and everyone gets even time to participate. Each entrepreneur will have 1 minute to pitch their idea. Then there will be 2 minutes of Q&A with the judges. And then we'll go in order of stage. So we have 3 entrepreneurs who are pitching in the idea stage. So they have just an idea that they've formulated and are just getting off the ground and getting that idea up and running. Then we have 3 entrepreneurs who are in the in motion stage. So these are entrepreneurs who've got less than $25,000 in annual revenue, and they're getting their idea in motion. And then finally, we have entrepreneurs who are in the up and running category. So their businesses are up and running, and they've maybe pivoted in some way or deepened the initial mission or founding mission of their company, and they are over $25,000 in revenue. And it was important to us to get each of these 3 categories because they symbolize the life cycle of entrepreneurs. As Roger stated, it really does start with an idea, and then it grows and grows and grows. So ideas are just as valuable as up and running companies. Really is what you do to go from idea to up and running. All right, that's it. Without further ado, we're going to begin our pitches. So here we go. We've got 3 entrepreneurs in the just an idea phase. Our first up, Eduardo Gonzalez of Music City Sanitation Services. Eduardo, the floor is yours.
Hello, judges and crowd. Thank you guys for coming out and I guess spending some time here. I appreciate your time. Okay, with that being said, I'll start. Guaranteeing that businesses are disinfected thoroughly to protect customers and employees is a paramount concern of owners as businesses begin to reopen. My name is Eduardo Gonzalez, and I'm the founder of Music City Sanitizing Services. Using new state-of-the-art electrostatic sprayers and following CDC recommendations, my company goes into small businesses and disinfects them completely. The electrostatic sprayers are so effective because they electrically charge EPA-recommended disinfectants. These disinfectants then latch onto the surfaces around them, aggressively attacking any viruses or bacteria. Large corporations such as Southwest Airlines are using this exact same technology to sanitize their planes. My company makes available this emerging and innovative technology to small businesses such as barbershops, gyms, and Airbnbs, among others. Now is the time to take this virus head on as businesses begin to reopen. We can ensure your employees and customers of your clean, healthy workplace and get Nashville back on track.
Thank you, Eduardo. You can give it up for Eduardo in the chat. Judges, you now have 2 minutes to ask Eduardo your questions. Take it away.
Do we go in order? Do we have a system here?
It's a great question.
I'm curious, Eduardo, do you actually have access to this technology?
Yes, so I have my mentor, who actually is in facility management and owns a company in facility management, is renting them out for me for the time being until I can get them. They're on back order until August. However, I've gotten them. I'm going to be getting them at the end of June.
Other
Right,
questions, judges?
So I think when it comes to, I mean, this is the perfect time for something like this. I think every city across the nation is going to need more and more of this. I think what's interesting with your company and what you're wanting to launch and the compliance. My only concern is the liability side, and I think all of that can be, pertain to on the legal side. But if you can find out a way to get like government grants or state or local legislative to pass grants for that, this could be incredibly, because when you look at like gym owners that have already suffered through this, PPP program and what has been, a lot of people haven't even been able to receive that in itself. So these smaller businesses that you're talking about, your hair salons, hairstylists, they cannot afford this particular thing. But when you look at like your local and state funding to pass on something like this, it would be very interesting to see what type of what they could pass. So my suggestion would be, if that's who your demographic is and your avatar, would be targeting the politics, the politician side and that angle, and seeing what you can get from that side.
Thank you all. We have just 10 seconds left. I'm going to steal it back. Eduardo, thank you for your pitch. Love that advocacy and policy angle. Colin, hadn't thought about that. And shout out to Eduardo, who's going into his senior year at Elon University and is out here with this amazing idea. So congratulations, Eduardo. All right, next up, we've got the second in the Just an Idea phase. We've got Stu Bostock from SCI USA. Stu, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Brynn. Afternoon, everybody. My concept really involves the integration of several technologies into our existing range of rapid deployment mobile safety cameras. What we want to do is get people back to music. We want to get people back to sporting events, and we want to get back to some social interaction sooner and more safely. So how are we going to do that? First, we're going to look at the true effectiveness of emerging thermal imaging to measure body temperature. And anyone detected with a high fever can be selected for secondary screening. Second, we want to look at advancements in video analytics and crowd management and crowd counting. This, in partnership with social distancing analytics, would allow us to create alerts for close contact and loitering. Lastly, this solution can be tied together with existing display monitors, so we can broadcast friendly reminders and messages about social distancing around public areas. So as a veteran of life safety and security, my goal is to navigate the technology that is rapidly evolving due to the current threat of COVID-19. And what I want to do is determine the actual real-world applications of this technology and its integration into our existing deployment of rapid safety towers. This will be a contactless and non-obtrusive way to fight the spread of COVID-19 and other viruses that we may come against. Thank you.
Thank you, Stu. Give it up for Stu in the chat. Judges, you have 2 minutes to ask your questions of Stu.
Hey, Stu, so how exactly are you going to be able to keep track of everybody's social distancing, and what happens if, all these close contacts start to happen rapidly all over the place?
It's really utilizing video analytics. So there's believe it or not, there's existing technology, but they all exist in silos. And they've been created for various purposes and different purposes than what we can currently use it for with COVID-19. So it's using analytics to detect distances between people, flow of people, crowd counting, can even detect when crowds are dispersing at a rapid rate. Similarly with thermal imaging, they're actually using the blood vessels in the very corner of the eye. So when you see train stations and hundreds of people and all their temperatures being recorded, that doesn't exist. That's Hollywood. It's only in controlled environments, such as going through a turnstile at a football field, for instance, or maybe through a gate of a concert, where you can get close enough, and it'll just take a split second to read the temperature on the inside of the eye.
Oh wow! So this basically determines like where the hot spots are, where people can avoid.
Absolutely. So if your turnstiles, for instance, are automatic, if somebody has a high fever, you could stop the turnstile from opening. It doesn't detect whether they have COVID-19 or not, but what it will do is detect that there's an anomaly, they have a high temperature, and they can be pulled aside for some secondary screening.
It's very interesting. I've heard about this. This is nice.
We've got time for maybe one more question. We've got about 30 seconds left.
Where do you see this being used most?
I think it's going to be phases. So I think as we get into social gatherings again in large areas, parks, shopping malls and community centers, I think we're going to see a need for constant reminders, especially as people start getting complacent. So I think that's where we can introduce some video monitoring to allow some friendly reminders about social distancing. And then I think it's going to phase naturally into concerts, sporting events and activities where there's a large amount of people going through a controlled entrance and exit point, and where you're trying to control. I know there's discussions at the moment about how can we fit 20,000 people into a stadium of 80,000 people or 80,000 seats and introduce social distancing. So this would just be another tool that that event managers and stadium owners could deploy to help in the fight and help in the social distancing.
Okay.
Thank you,
Cool.
Stu.
Thank you very much, guys.
Stu. Last person in the Just an Idea category, friend of the EC, Sarah Beth Perry and her company With the Band. Sarah Beth, take it away.
Thanks so much, Brynn. Currently, our community is social isolated like never before. Our national music is all financially struggling from the loss in revenue due from concerts being canceled. My name is Sarah Beth Perry, and we are wanting to solve these problems at With the Band. With the Band is enabling music fans to create and meetups through our. We've also helped artists create these fan projects, and artists like Jonas Brothers and Casey Musgraves have been a part of them. Currently, we are wanting to build out new software that will enable artists to create and host their own fan club at a zero startup cost to them. This is enabling artists to gain a brand new revenue stream, while also allowing fans to feel less socially isolated by being a part of a fan community. Our mission at With the Band is really to help fans and artists feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves.
Thank you, Sarah Beth. Judges, you have 2 minutes to ask Sarah Beth your questions.
I guess I'm curious, Sarah Beth. I don't know if you cut out a little bit on everybody, but I saw your pitch before. So I'm curious, and there are quite a few coordinated fan club apps on the market. How is yours different? And you say this is a way to create income as well. How is your app different than the other things that are already out there?
Yeah, so they exist on two opposite ends. So you see larger artists creating their own app of thousands of dollars, which these medium-sized artists don't have access to. And it's also just a large startup cost for them. And then there's also kind of the baby artist that is on Patreon trying to get monthly subscribers. But even someone who has clout trying to create this Patreon. So what we're trying to do is create that in between that's a reputable, known brand that will help these artists all at a zero startup cost. So the artist will not have to pay anything up front. We'll just take a person. So it's a lot easier on the artist team to start up this fan club.
Okay.
About 45 seconds left. Judges, other questions?
In here.
Had a little problem hearing, but I'm always interested in connection. I love that we're trying to connect at this time. I think this is an awesome way. I love listening to new music, whether it be from new artists or just anything out of the norm that I've been looking at. So basically, you know, I really like this idea. I miss some of just the small details, but this is something I would like to look into for sure.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Beth. And the judges did see pitches beforehand, so it's okay just for the audience to know Sarah Beth is not going to be judged differently just because her video quality cut out. Like, everyone has access to the original pitches. So fairness is being upheld here.
100%.
So yeah, 100%. Just to make sure that we close out this round nicely, let's give it up for the people who are in the just an idea phase. We had Eduardo Gonzalez, we had Stu Bostock, and Sarah Beth Perry. Shout out to you guys for getting your ideas off the ground, and all at very different phases and different industries. Excited to see what you all do. Up next, we've got the end of the idea category. Now we're in the idea in motion phase. Here we go. I was trying to do a drum roll and there was no way to do it that wouldn't significantly interrupt with the steadiness of the camera. Okay, here we go. From idea in motion, now from idea to idea in motion. Here we go. Up first, Eric Mayer of EDP Biotech. Eric, the floor is yours.
Thanks for having me. My name is Eric Mayer, and I'm the CEO of EDP Biotech. For the last several years, we've been developing a new blood test for early detection of colorectal cancer. And earlier this year, we were very excited to present new data and launch this product at conferences, which came all screeching to a crashing halt when coronavirus hit. Like many small businesses, how are we going to survive? And to add to that stress and pressure, several of my close family members tested positive for coronavirus. So I started learning everything I could. We talked to physicians across the state and recognized the need for widespread antibody testing. At EDP Biotech, we have the people, the equipment, the talent, the expertise to solve test shortages and performance issues. And we've already gotten started. We recently received a listing on the FDA website, and we started developing the tools needed to build, scale, and validate tests right here in Tennessee. And we're hiring med techs to be able to deliver this testing service to Tennessee as the economy reopens. So not only are we going to survive this, we are going to thrive, and we are excited about this opportunity. Thank you.
Eric, thank you so much. 2 minutes, judges, to hear more about EDP Biotech.
So this is better testing, or is this just kind of comparable to other testing?
Yeah, so we've got a two-phase approach. The first phase is to bring aboard existing FDA, EUA authorized tests, the best ones we can find. And then we are going to use our multiplex platform to develop our own new test in parallel.
How similar is the testing that you're looking forward to developing to the testing that you are already developing?
So it's using the same platform to look at multiple blood proteins in a single patient's blood sample. So the platform is very similar, but we would be looking at coronavirus antibodies rather than looking at cancer-related proteins.
Eric, how do you plan on making money in terms of this, in terms of your recurring revenue model for yourself?
Yes, so we are going to be selling the reagents, for example, the proteins that we produce. We're going to be selling those to other developers. We're also going to be performing validation services in-house and also scaling up test kit production. We'll also be testing patients here in Tennessee, hopefully very soon, and working with hopefully the county. In fact, I've got a meeting with the mayor in about 20 minutes here that I need to run to. But things are happening very fast, and we're excited to scale up.
Nice tie, dude. Good luck with that.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
30 seconds left for any questions, comments, feedback for Eric.
What's the timetable looking like for this to kind of come to fruition?
We hope to have the existing tests up and running before the end of this month, and then the new test will take us about 4 to 6 weeks to get it through and regulatory approvals.
Gotcha.
How many tests can you produce, do you think, in a certain amount of time?
Right now, we're starting small with about 100 per day, and we're going to go up to about 1,000 per day, hopefully by the end of June, and we may be able to do 3,000 to 4,000 a day thereafter.
All right, thank you, Eric. EDP Biotech, give it up for them in the chat. Up next in the idea in motion phase, we have Sophia Tomov of Gardian Labs. Sophia, let's hear your pitch.
Thank you. Gardian Labs provides fast and accurate cardiac risk evaluation software. The problem is that underlying cardiac issues increase risk of mortality from COVID-19. With increased healthcare demand, doctors need to see more patients in less time. Gardian helps address this problem with our AI-based software that rapidly identifies patients at higher risk of COVID-19 mortality due to underlying cardiac issues. Here's how healthcare personnel can use it. First, the hospital receives a login. A provider enters 14 metrics from a standard echocardiogram report. In under 5 seconds, the software outputs normal or abnormal cardiac risk. This helps the provider meet patients' needs and save time. And we've proven that it works. Gardian is working with the Air Force as the recipient of a Phase 1 grant to further develop cardiac screening software. Our software achieves 99% accuracy, and pilot tests are in progress with UT Sports Medicine. Gardian software is better than anything else out there. It's faster, more accurate, and more agile than existing decision support methods. By using AI to modernize the screening process, Gardian can revolutionize clinical decision support and help fight COVID-19.
Thank you, Sophia. Judges, 2 minutes for your questions for Gardian Labs.
Well done. So the concept is hospitals have this, a patient comes in, they click on this patient, his stuff is already in there. Is it just a certain amount of people? Do you have a base for everyone with a cardio issue that are already in your base platform for this that they have? How do you get more people in it? I think it's a great idea. I just have some questions as to how you lock in, how you interface with a hospital like Vanderbilt. So when a patient walks in there, they immediately know we've got a high heart risk here. This person needs to go to the front of the line. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, thank you. So the way that this would work is that it could be, so it's currently available as a mobile platform that a doctor could use to enter patient medical information, but then we're also working on a system that can integrate with the hospital's electronic health record. So in that case, the doctor wouldn't need to enter any information. The doctor would just be able to use that tool when a patient comes in to say, is this person at higher cardiac risk? And if so, then what can be done to help treat them if they have COVID-19?
Sophia, how does your product differentiate itself from the other vendors that are out there right now?
Well, currently, there is actually not an accurate decision support system. Most hospitals and most doctors don't use any decision support for heart disease risk evaluation. But why Gardian software is better than the ones that are out there, it's more accurate. It achieves 99% accuracy, which is validated, and the research paper is published and available on ResearchGate, showing that accuracy is indicative of its clinical feasibility, and it's also using numerical data, which studies show is a lot more reliable than the image data that any potential competitors are using.
Hey, Sophia. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, brother.
No, you go. You got okay. I just for
No,
the sake of time, yeah. Go ahead, bro. this is crazy.
I
Go
love
ahead.
your confidence, Sophia. I just wanted to applaud you on that. Like, I think you've done an incredible job presenting today. Probably one of the best ones that I've seen. Like, you were talking about AI, and I laughed in my head because I'm like, man, that she is on it. She's like a program that is telling us exactly verbatim. So I want to applaud you on your confidence, and I wish you the best. I think this is incredible.
Thank you.
I hope I'm not running over too much, but I just want to know, like, how are we going to be able to get this to all the doctors? Like, is this just word of mouth right now? Is this something that you're going to have somebody just, give it a letter? Like, how are these doctors going to go ahead and use this, going to trust this product to be able to use it everywhere? Because I know if my doctor didn't use it, I would want them to.
Yes, so right now we're looking into really expanding. So by this partnership with the Air Force, that's one way of reaching our customer segments. And also, Gardian just found out that we were selected for the Sync Space Accelerator program. And what that entails is potential partnership with a large health system. And that is with a focus on not just for general cardiac risk evaluation, but also for helping COVID-19 patients. And that's another way that can really help get this software out there into the hands of doctors. And then from there, it's just building the credibility, providing a proof of concept so that more doctors will be willing and able to use this. And that's also part of the reason why Gardian is seeking funding, because any additional funding that Gardian receives would go towards hiring software developers who could really help build the electronic health record integration capability, which would be tremendously helpful for integrating with physician workflow.
Awesome.
All
Thank you very
right.
much.
Thank you. I let us go a little bit over because I know when AI or machine learning comes up, I have more questions. Sophia, are you still in school? Someone in the chat was asking that you disclose your age and or school status.
Yes, I'm a student at the University of Tennessee.
Okay, go Vols.
Sounds like you
Yay.
should be teaching, Sophia.
And I love that we have students in here too. I love that we have people who are still in undergrad and exploring these ideas. Never too early to start. And then we have our last business in the idea and motion category, Kevin McCarty of We Should Write Sometime. Kevin, we're excited to hear from you.
Thank you. Our mission is to help songwriters do what they love, write songs. I'm Kevin McCarty, the CEO, and the data shows if you want to be a successful songwriter, you need to co-write. But the problem is, first, finding other songwriters. Second, knowing if that's what you're looking for. And third, if you don't know anyone or not in a music town, good luck. So what we came up with was We Should Write Sometime, which is a free app that helps songwriters find other songwriters around them, or you can geolocate to other cities or countries to find songwriters in those areas. Think Tinder, but for songwriters, and the profile details help us set up the perfect co-writes. We're the only app doing this right now, and we're not bound by location or needing physical interaction, which is huge given the current climate. Organically, we've grown to over 4,000 users since we launched in November of 2018, available currently in US, Canada, and Australia. And we've grown 26% since May 1st when Rolling Stone sent out an article about us. We're currently raising our fourth round of funding of $300,000 to help us blitzscale into countries begging for us to get there, and to develop our freemium model and also build our pro model for our professional songwriters. Swipe right.
Thank you, Kevin. Judges, your 2 minutes. You have the floor.
Well, I'm curious, Kevin. First, do you have success stories, and do you have any big hit songwriters using your platform?
We do both. So we've got a handful of number one writers that use this a lot and have given us some great feedback of trying to help find up and coming talent. So one of the next phases of us is to kind of develop a farm system to help cultivate all of the up and coming songwriters. But we do have professional number one songwriters, a couple Grammy winners use it. And a lot of them have told us, hey, I'm just trying to find new writers that maybe I want to potentially write with and new sounds, just because, as you know, most of the times when you're at that professional level, you kind of have your already set group, or if you're writing for artists like yourself. But, you know, this next round of funding is going to help us develop that pro tier so that if you're a professional, you're only going to see other writers at that level.
What are your current monthly expenses associated with building out this app and this concept right now?
Yeah, we've bootstrapped a lot of this ourselves, but for monthly expenses, obviously like the AWS fees and operation type things. But you know, for us right now, you know, we're pre-revenue, and so that next round of funding is going to help us develop those premium features to start generating revenue on subscription of those premium features. So right now, to be honest, they're not an incredible amount of monthly expenses, but we know as we scale and grow into these other countries, we're going to need the infrastructure and back end to really hold that together, and from a, you know, policy and privacy, data collection, those type of things. So that's going to scale really quickly as we grow.
Okay.
And I got one thing, I guess. So this is particularly for just songwriters and up and coming and aspiring songwriters. What about kind of having a two-pronged approach and having those that want to get involved with actually like singing and finding those type of people, right? Maybe they can pay to, you know, that's part of that service, is it's some type of license to that. And then you can acquire more. There's going to be a ton of people that you can push to this platform. I'm a data guy. So, my thought is, how can I drive as much traffic to here as possible while serving both talent and potential up and coming artists?
Yeah, and that's literally the next phase of what we're trying to do here. The reason we kind of went for the amateur hobbyists to start with is there's no friction in getting in front of them, because if you are a professional songwriter, a lot of times you have a publisher that kind of helps manage your co-writes and that type of process. And so for us, it is building out that pro tier so that we can leverage the talent that is being cultivated right now, and using that data, saying, hey, here are the best writers that we see within the platform, using that data. As an example, we've had a publisher reach out to us and say, I will pay you for the most swiped righted on profiles in Nashville. And so we know that that's a big thing that we're growing into right now.
What is
All right,
your
Kevin,
background in
thank
the
you.
music? Sorry.
Who was I cutting off? Go ahead.
I just
Whoever
asked,
that
what was your background in the music business?
So I've always been in music, just playing, but I'm not good enough to make a career out of it. But the other passion of mine was tech, and so I moved to Nashville and worked at a music tech startup that I learned a lot from as a failure through that. And so I cultivated a lot of that experience into this, but I've always been in the tech space even before I moved here, selling data platforms to colleges and universities before this.
Okay, great.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. That concludes the Idea in Motion category. Shout out again to everyone in that category. We had Eric Mayer of EDP Biotech, Sophia Tomov of Gardian Labs, and Kevin McCarty of We Should Write Sometime. Love all your ideas. Love the variety of ideas on the stage, and love that you're all already thinking about what the next phase of scale looks like for HBO. And then finally, while the judges tally up those scores, we're going to move on to the last stage of the day. I can't believe the pitches go so fast when they're elevator pitches. This is the up and running stage. So these are companies that are up and running, and they are at more than $25,000 a year in annual revenue. We have 3 teams here in this category. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and start. Up first, we have Harry Hoover of Filter Joy.
Hi, I'm Harry, here with Austin. We're the founders of Filter Joy, a subscription that delivers air filters to your door when it's time to change them. Over 90 million homes rely on air filters to improve indoor air quality, and 81% of homeowners don't routinely change their air filters. That's a problem. Changing our air filters is a forgettable chore, and buying the right ones is a big hassle. So we created an easy solution, allowing you to skip the store, order online once, and get unforgettable delivery with fun-free goodies and pet treats.
But today, there's a bigger problem. Because of the virus outbreak, our lives have changed. The new normal is home-based, inside where the air can be 10 times more polluted than the air outside. Safer at home means changing your filters now. And seeing this, we started Healthy at Home, a program that allows our subscribers in 47 states to share Filter Joy with their friends and neighbors for free. And so far, we shipped over 1,000 free deliveries, and that's 1,000 families that are now breathing healthier air while working, learning, and playing from home.
Share filterjoy.com/@home, because well, more than ever, every home deserves a healthier environment.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Austin. Judges, 2 minutes for your questions, comments, and feedback.
Well, I have to say, that's a timely discussion, because we just had our air filters filled out in our home, and we hadn't gotten them clean in God knows how long, and amid the COVID-19 is perfect timing. And I guess your business model is perfect right now. I guess my question to you, since you're kind of a mature business, where is your current pain right now in terms of your business model? Where do you see the most help, the most opportunity, where it is right now?
Actually, our business grew 43.9% during the crisis, and that's why we decided to start helping families and people in need that didn't have access, they couldn't go to the stores, the inventory was low. We started actually having our subscribers hand out a promotional code that allowed them to order their filters free. Where we're hurting now is frankly, at first we were trying to make sure our suppliers were all intact, our box company, our filter company, et cetera, but we've weathered through it pretty well.
So what's your challenge then? At the end of the day, like, what is customer acquisition? You said, you've got, is it 1,000 active subscribers, or is it 1,000 units that have been sold? Because there's a big difference between the two.
We have well over 1,000 subscribers, but we have given away 1,000 free orders in the last, let's say, 6-7 weeks.
Love that.
So, as you well know, customer acquisition is a big thing for a subscription company. So we're working with that.
Do you know, how long has your business been around?
We launched in April of 2018.
Okay. Do you know what your LTV is on each subscriber?
Well, that's something that we're working on, but it's variable. We're experimenting with different promotions, et cetera. Right now, we have about 8 months that a subscriber will stay with us to 12 months. We actually have a tenant-based delivery and also a home-based delivery. So we have filtersnap.com that handles rental properties. So there's a combination between that LTV.
Yeah, I love the free plus shipping model, especially during this time, and with the subscription-based revenue at an 8-month projected revenue stream. Like, if you could take a loss on the front end, knowing that they're going to be around, and it's a consistent cash flow basis, it's an incredible model. And now you're pushing yourself forward as a giving company during a time of crisis. So I would continue to play that out, and then I would use that same leverage as a PR push to let people know there's a ton of active websites that you can use. You can put yourself on and get free traffic, and you can let people know, hey, this is what we're doing to give back, acquire their first time acquisition, or give them their first item for free, and now they're secured in payments, and hopefully they hit your same LTV benchmark. I would suspect that it would be a little bit lower. You know, if you're putting out a credit card to begin with, there's going to be a higher, I believe, a higher churn rate of staying with your business. But this could be interesting to test. I would split test that for sure.
All right, thank you, Harry Austin. Great comments. I did Google LTV. Is it loan to value? Is that correct?
Lifetime value.
Okay. Lifetime value. Okay. Wow. Different acronyms out here. Lifetime value. Thank you for schooling us today, Colin. All right, up to the next person in the up and running category, Ryan Reisdorf of Placemat. Ryan, let's hear your pitch.
Hey there. Restaurants opened here yesterday in Nashville, but right now going to your favorite restaurant is not necessarily on the top of our list. But gathering, being with friends and family probably is. So what can you do? I'm Ryan Reisdorf, and I started Placemat. For the last 3 years, we have brought the restaurant experience and our chefs to your homes and Airbnbs, and we've made it incredibly easy. You book, we cook. The Placemat reservation experience has been made seamless with automation technologies, and some of our guests have even said it's too easy. With a couple of clicks on our website, your reservation and menu is confirmed, chefs are scheduled, and an itemized ingredient list specific to your size and dietary preferences is built. More than ever, your safety is our number one priority. Before ever entering a home or kitchen, Placemat chefs will follow specific company requirements, local government and CDC recommendations to ensure absolute safety. If Placemat were to win this grant, we would further build our technology to provide jobs to unemployed and service industry workers everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. Judges, 2 minutes for your questions for Ryan Reisdorf for Placemat.
How many people have used Placemat during this time? Has it gone up?
Well, yeah. So it's certainly our in-home reservations we had to postpone early on because of safety, and reevaluate the same way as restaurants would. So we pivoted to doing pickup and delivery meals for these guests, and we would charge normally half our normal rate and give half that money to the chefs for producing that meal. But we have organically built that, and we are doing 10 meals a week for that. But we have also 3 weeks ago we partnered with a nonprofit called Feeding Nashville, and we're doing over 400 meals a day, utilizing their service, and we are feeding families in need, frontline workers, and it's all donation based.
What are your current price points right now, Ryan, on your meals?
So with our normal dinner service or meal service in home, it's a minimum reservation of 8, and we charge $60 per person. But when we start to open up our reservations, we're going to lower our costs because of our operating expenses are, they're very, very minimal because all our work is done inside a home or a kitchen. We don't work out of a space. It's almost like a cloud kitchen in terms of if you book a reservation, that's when we get to work, and that's where our technology does all the work. But we're going to lower our pricing to reach more people, especially during a time of financial hardships for people. We want to keep acquiring new customers and continue working with customers that we've had in the past.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ryan, thank you so much. Amazing to hear about your work with Feeding Nashville. I hadn't heard about that component of the business. That's exciting. And then we have our final pitch of the day, Caitlin Churchill of Possip. Caitlin, close us out.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Churchill, Customer Experience Manager and part of the founding team for Possip, where we help schools hear from parents about families' needs. Here's how Possip works. We send pulse checks every week, literally checking in with parents about their experience with school. Parents respond by text, and we give schools back a report prioritizing feedback, recommending follow-up, and highlighting trends. When schools across the country closed doors and went remote because of the pandemic, our 300 customers said they needed to hear from families fast and routinely as the situation evolved. We updated our pulse check question to ask, did your school meet your child's needs this week? And we've been delivering critical feedback from parents about how to support them, like access to food and the internet and equipment for remote learning. In the past month, Possip's team of 8 has started working with 170 new schools. We check in with almost every parent of school-aged children in Nashville public schools, and we're making our tech scalable to reach 1 million more parents across the U.S. by this fall. Thank you.
Caitlin, thank you so much. Judges, your 2 minutes.
Well, that's quite
I love the
inspiration.
Go ahead.
Right off the bat, Caitlin, how did you get so involved with schools giving you that kind of trust with their parents and their children?
Great question. So our founder and CEO, Shawnee, is on this as well, on this call. She has a wonderful origin story. She was actually at home with her husband talking about an actual situation that he was dealing with as a principal, basically about parent feedback that had just kind of gone wild. And they were talking about how parent feedback can quickly become a thing of gossip and can really become something that isn't constructive for school administrators and principals and school leaders. So they basically started talking about what a solution would look like so that we could not only get constructive parent feedback to schools, but help them manage that feedback. And also, very importantly and appropriately, given it was just Teacher Appreciation Week, we want to get positive insight to schools so that we can motivate teachers and help them retain their staff at schools so that we can better educate our students.
Excellent.
Last comments for Caitlin of Possip.
I guess monetization schedule, like how are you monetizing this through all the schools?
Yes, so our what we charge schools can look very, very different depending on what size the school is and how many parents we're serving. So it can range anywhere from $1,000 for an individual school all the way up to $30K if we're serving an entire district. So we work with several districts. We have a full suburban district, a full urban district, and districts all over the U.S. Are in conversations with us. So we're really looking at those big whales, which are those districts, and working with them. But we also serve individual schools that come to us and need us, and we are now even serving teachers in the classroom because, as we all know, teachers are working really tough, really hard, and making independent decisions for some of their schools. So we're supporting all levels, and to really, really grow our revenue and drive the future of our company, we look at those districts.
Thank you, everyone. We have to say 9 amazing entrepreneurs, 9 amazing ideas or concepts already in motion. If you haven't already shouted them out in the chat, now is the time to do it because we are blown away by the work that's happening here in our backyard across the state of Tennessee, whether it's here in Nashville or in Knoxville, as we heard Sophia talk about, or in Chattanooga. Felicia Jackson of CPR Rap is on the call, who is representing Chattanooga incredibly well out here in the world. Thank you to everyone who pitched. Thank you so much. At this time, I'm going to get into some of the mechanics of how we're going to decide who wins this competition. So first and foremost, our judges will now be handing in their scores so that we can tally those as a team. We have a winner for every single category. We will have a winner for every single category. And then audiences, everyone on the call, you get to choose the audience favorite. So every person who wins in a category, so for each winner in each category, they receive a $2,000 grant that is given through the National Entrepreneur Center with the support of Launch Tennessee. And then the audience favorite will win a seat in pre-flight, which is coming up on June 8th. Pre-flight is being conducted entirely virtually, so it is geographically agnostic now. Pre-flight, if you've never heard of it, it's our 14-week get your idea up and running class. It's from I have an idea to I have a stand-up and stood-up business. It is probably one of the best dollar-for-dollar investments you can make into your entrepreneurial journey as someone here in Nashville. And now, open to anyone. The voting should pop right up onto your screen on the Zoom. So it should appear just as a poll, and you can choose your favorite pitch. While we're doing that, judges, while we have you on here, I'd love to ask you all some questions. Colin, you are a social media icon. That's how I came to learn about you. And I wonder if you had any tips for how entrepreneurs can use social media to amplify their message.
Yeah, so, I'm from Huntsville, Alabama. What's interesting is before I met Zach, I just met him a couple months ago, who's my PR guy. I leveraged everything through social media, but I was kind of an early adapter. When I got out of the military, I was blown up in Afghanistan, transitioned out. I started a Facebook page, ironically, within the fitness community. And so I started to leverage and grow different pages that were within the fitness community that I could also use with my own cross-platform. Within 30 days, I actually had over 100,000 followers, and it transpired within 6 months to over 1 million. So then I started to grow other fitness pages because that was my avatar. And I grew those to, it's currently over 4.6 million within fitness that's non-branded to my personal brand. Then I leveraged those to share other content while they're sharing me and my personal brand. So it kept mine very clean. Yeah. And then mine has over 3.6 million. So almost 10 million cumulative across social media that I can use as a distribution outlet to kind of leverage anything that I want to go after or sell. Or I want to pitch men's fitness for a magazine cover. I did that to land over 50 plus magazine covers without a PR firm or an agency, living in Huntsville. So you don't have to live in a major city or a town in Hollywood. And I have lived in North Hollywood, but I prefer right here in Huntsville, Alabama. And you can use your social media as a massive value proposition to leverage anything that you want, whether that's,
keep your
magazine covers. Yeah, Under Armour, working and leveraging anything that you want. I do the same thing with running my business. Now we've shipped over 4 million products over the last 3.5 years as a business. We got invited to the White House for Made in America Week, where I got a selfie with President Trump. That was pretty cool. And all of that is just through the power of social media. We actually just this past week hit 1 billion with a B impressions for our company, Redline Steel. So, and we just hit 4 years old in January. So,
congratulations! I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But all of it's social media and direct to consumer. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is it really is a ride. Those first 4 years, the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys. But y'all have been killing it. We love having more examples in the Southeast of companies that are kind of up and coming and really making this area of the U.S. A hotspot. It is becoming a hotspot between what's happening in Birmingham, what's happening in Huntsville, what's happening in Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville. So we're glad to see that. Before I go on, Jeremy, how are we? Are we scored up? Are we tallied?
Not currently. So judges, if you can go ahead and submit those scores on that form.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Okay.
We're doing all the adding on the back end.
Kix, I have a couple. I wanted to see if you were out there.
I'm out here.
You're out here. As the owner of Arrington Vineyards, I'm curious how you all have adjusted to this time of quarantine and what your business is going to look like in this new normal.
Actually, we did really well because of our wine club, which so establishing like the filter guys, establishing that brand and that thing that you can always count on coming in on a regular basis. We have over 6,000 wine club members. So
do you really? That's amazing.
I know. So every quarter they're buying wine, and then we've had curbside pickup. And believe it or not, out of those 6,000, 3,500 of them actually want to come to the winery, even though we split shipping with them during this time. They want to come to the winery and pick their wine up. Well, when they get there,
Of course they do. It's gorgeous.
yeah, there's a couple of extra bottles we'd like to have, and this and that. So fortunately, the governor allowed us to open up. We can't have live music, but we do have a 100-acre property, so we spread out all our picnic tables and everything else. Our pavilion where we generally have live music, we opened that up, made that our retail area. We shut down all our tasting bars that people normally go to, but they still have that beautiful hillside. So you just adapt. You know, they've got plenty of room to come in. We space everybody out, but they can still buy their wine, their frosés, whatever they like. We have tastings already preset in little cardboard boxes where you can get 4 different wines, 4 different kinds.
Oh, so cute.
Hand it to you. You go, you get your picnic table, and there's plenty of room out there. We have a cutoff at like 350 cars, which sounds like a lot. On a 100-acre property, everybody can get nice and spread out. And everybody's really taking this seriously. That's what makes me happy, because I was out there every day when we started doing this just to make sure we weren't screwing up, because we're concerned about the safety for our employees as well as our patrons.
Yes.
Everybody
yes,
knows
and I've been there. Yeah, exactly. Like on the most packed day.
We'll have fun. We've got to learn our new normal and safe and enjoy ourselves.
Yes. And Arrington, now that I know I can go there and be socially distanced, which, you know, even on the most packed, insane day at Arrington, you can still carve out your own space. So
I was
now that I know
looking everywhere for you, by the way.
And this is a ringing endorsement for Arrington.
That's it.
Yes. Our submissions, if you haven't submitted, audience, if you haven't voted on the poll, go ahead and vote. And then Eddie, do you have any words of encouragement for entrepreneurs at this time?
Oh man, I would just say continue to search for new opportunities. I think it's during this time of COVID, it's been for me personally one where I can spend with my family, and a chance to spend time with my youngest son, really watch over making sure he's doing his homework and his workouts and so forth. But for the most part, my quiet time, I've been able to say, okay, I can launch this to my business and have this to my management business and working through Zoom, which has been phenomenal. You know, it doesn't cost me to get on a flight to go visit clients and potential prospects and so forth. I can do everything via Zoom, so it's been phenomenal. So the advice I would give people right now is to really be creative. You know, be constructive with your time. Don't sit up all night drinking Arrington Vineyard wine and waking up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and going to the golf course and start. You know, wake up early and spend time on whatever project that you're trying to work on and figure it out. You know, I know during the Great Plague in Europe, Shakespeare wrote King Lear around that period there at the time. And Sir Isaac Newton also created calculus, which I hate because I failed calculus. But I say all that to say, these are the times where you can really be creative and take advantage of that opportunity.
I shouldn't be at all surprised that the man with this exceptional library is schooling us with this knowledge.
I've read none of those books behind me, by the way. That's all for show. Every last one of them.
It's very flammable decor. And Roger, you know, I'm really curious, while we're still figuring this, tabulating our scores and getting our winners, I'm really curious about how esports during this time has either what has been the impact of this social distancing, quarantine, coronavirus time on esports.
It's been a boom. It's been a big boom. You know, the people that don't have any sports to watch are now watching more and more gameplay through Twitch. Twitch is partnered with pretty much 100% of all the gamers in esports, and their Twitch handle is just going through the roof. More people are buying premium memberships, subscription. More people are gifting subscriptions to certain players I know that a couple of guys are getting maybe 1,000 subscriptions every month, which are which are base level $4.99 all the way up into giving away 100 subscriptions for $500. So it's growing up tremendously. More people are partnered through Twitch. In fact, my co-owner actually started streaming, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago, and now he is already partnered and affiliated personal emojis and has at least 200 people watching him all times of the day. We even found out that they go through different regions, Americas, go through the UK, go through Asia, and we had a ton of Asian viewers around 2 a.m. that were just glued to the tube watching him play some type of anime video game. So it's just widespread.
It's global.
The viewership for all tournaments and events has shot up tremendously. In fact, when they came out with the E-League for one of the video games, they had more viewers than they did for the World Series, and that was before all this was going on. So I mean, the viewership has definitely doubled. All the leagues for League of Legends, Call of Duty, CS:GO, all those big premier games that are selling franchises, all of their viewership has gone up tremendously. And
are you a gamer too? I assume you didn't just see a business opportunity with this.
Let me speak it to the mic. Yeah, I stream sometimes. No, but yeah, I mean, that's something that I love to do, and I'm on more of the business side of it because my main focus is my career. So it's something that I enjoy doing, and we have a lot of great surprising things coming in the next couple months that I can't wait to share with everyone when the time is right.
Oh, that's exciting. A little titillation towards the very end.
Yep, a little Easter egg for you.
For all the viewers out here. It is great. We can see the stadium right from our building. If anyone's ever been to the Entrepreneur Center, we're at 41 Peabody Street, just in the heart of downtown Nashville. And, the Titan Stadium is just in our backyard. So it is a beautiful view. And we're often reminded that we are just a stone's throw from some of the most exciting stuff that happens in Nashville, and just a couple 100 yards from where the draft happened this year with 500,000 people in downtown Nashville. So it's exciting times, even in this weird time of reopening. It does, just being in the physical space of the EC reminds me that there are just so many exciting things that happen in this town, and having you all on the call too and hearing about your different businesses and what everyone is working on in this time is so grounding. Because, yes, things are shut down. Yes, things are slowed down, but there's still so much happening here in this city and in this part of the U.S. So we've got our teammate Riley tabulating the scores. While that is going on, I just want to make sure everyone has done the audience poll. If you haven't, I can't imagine how you couldn't have, because it pops up onto your Zoom window. It's pretty hard to miss. So make sure everyone has done that. And as a reminder, the EC, we're a 501c3. Oh, we're good on audience vote. Should we announce Jeremy? Jeremy is the producer of this event. He's in the room right next to me. We can actually hear each other in this room. Jeremy, should we announce the audience winner?
Let's just go ahead and wait till we get all the scores in, just to kind of do it all at one big time.
Perfect. Okay, I totally agree.
But if you want to go ahead and kind of give any last commercials for the EC that we would have at the end, and then we can...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So for everyone who's on here, I think almost everyone who's on knows about the Nashville Entrepreneur Center, or EC as we say for short. A little bit, I don't know whether some of you are very close partners to the EC or part of the founding of this organization. Some of you might be newer to the EC. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was developed when some folks in the city of Nashville about 11 years ago, both at the Chamber of Commerce and at the National Technology Council, as well as lots of other individuals, came together and said, we really need a place to grow our entrepreneurial community. This is not just a huge part of our economic development strategy as a region. It's not just a huge part of our existing economy, but it is also just a way to further the growth of this town as a place where ideas happen. We have amazing industries that are already set up here. We have healthcare, we have music, we have entertainment, but really we need to make sure that we are growing and incubating those next big players who are going to change the landscape of Nashville. So that's really what this place became. It's an incubator for ideas, it's an incubator for people, it's a place where entrepreneurs can sit next to or across from entrepreneurs, now 6 feet across from or 6 feet next to other entrepreneurs, and get excited about the ideas that they're building, throw ideas off each other. And we've been really impressed over this time as we have been going through this coronavirus, this quarantine time, to see how much that our entrepreneurs have used the virtual space. We've also made sure that all of our webinars and all of our demos, all of our sit downs with some of the heads of some of the most exciting companies in Nashville, that those are made available completely free to the entire Nashville community. And over this past couple months, we've seen thousands of people join those calls. Because people need it. People need support. People need access to ideas. They need access to the freshest and sharpest minds in Nashville. And so we're really, really grateful to be able to offer that. And we're grateful that you all show up to that. I'm just checking in on our scoring. Scoring. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Brynn, I sent it to you, but give me 1 second.
Okay.
We gotta, you had said that we needed a drum roll. So
are you getting me a drum roll?
Yeah, give me 1 second. Well, not a actual.
Wow.
It's for true entrepreneurs. More money, more problems.
I'm not going to be over this for a long time. Wow. Okay. Thank you, Mace. Thank you, Diddy, for this tune. Yeah.
All right. Whenever you're ready, Brynn, I have them on cue to announce.
Turn it down just a smidgen, Jeremy.
Oh, sorry.
Just a smidge. There we go. That's perfect. Oh, thank you. Yes. R.I.P. Biggie. All right. In the idea category, our winner, Stu Bostock of STI USA. Congratulations, Stu. Congratulations, STI USA. I think just thinking about the draft, thinking about the NFL, everything that's here in our backyard, we know that some people will be able to use that technology. We're excited to see what you do next, Stu. Should we keep going?
Yeah, just because we're already over time, unfortunately. I say
I'm thinking the same thing. Yeah, let's keep moving. Okay, for Up in Motion category, Idea in Motion category. Ready? Eric Mayer of EDP Biotech. Eric, congratulations. Biotech and technology is definitely winning the day today. And finally, for the Up and Running category, Filter Joy, congratulations, Harry and Austin. Congratulations. We are loving what you're doing to grow both this very necessary need for people to grow, to make sure that their air quality is really great, and also to bring some joy into people's lives where things can be a little monotonous. So congratulations to all three of you. And finally, audience favorite, who could be shocked? Sophia Tomov of Gardian Labs. Sophia, the wunderkind from out in East Tennessee. Sophia, we are so excited for you to keep growing. And yes, please do apply to Project Healthcare because we want to help you grow your idea and get some national reach with it. As we said before, all of our winners in each category will receive $2,000 grant from the Nashville Entrepreneur Center in coordination with Launch Tennessee. And Gardian Labs, you win a seat in pre-flight or the equivalent value and services at the Entrepreneur Center. How convenient is that? Congratulations to all of you. Truly, we're so glad that the judges did the judging for us because we have such favorites among this group that it would be impossible for us to choose ourselves. Let's give it up one more time for all our judges. Again, we have Colin Wayne, Kix Brooks, Eddie George, Roger Saffold. Thank you all so much. I loved your thoughts and your contributions on this topic, and we look to you all as entrepreneurs that we want to learn from too. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to everyone who signed on. Thank you to our judges. And we hope to see you soon at the next Nashville Entrepreneur Center pitch event. Bye, everyone. Have a great day.